He's hit another home run.
It's Allen. Allen straight ahead. Bulldozes in for the touchdown.
Daniels quick throw far side. Quick through. Terry McLaurin. Foot race. McLaurin is going to win. Touchdown. But he won't. Murray coming on a blitz now and wide open. It's Kelsey. Breaks the tackle. Still going. Travis Kelsey. Down near the 6.
All right, guys, welcome back to Keeps Hot Takes. I know it's been a hot minute. Oddly enough, the last show I had, Q was on the show as well in the summer when we did the Tank and Frank Martin recap show. So Q, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing good. I know you on a cloud nine as your Commanders are one win away from the Super Bowl. How you feeling?
Look, I was telling my students when I was like, yo, like I'm turned. Like, going to the season, like I ain't really expect us to win, this many games, but when you get on the roll and you get hot, anything can happen. So I think that's kind of like where we at right now, playing with like no expectations for real, just going out there playing ball. So I'm excited. I can't wait till, this game Sunday so we can see if, we can take that next step and get to a Super Bowl.
Yes, and what would that feeling be like for you if y'all do pull this off Sunday?
Man, I don't even know. Like, a part of me want to be like, yo, I'm going to New Orleans. Like, I ain't going, you know what I'm saying? I just want to be in New Orleans. I ain't got to be in the stadium. Like, I just want to be in New Orleans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be honest, like, a lot of teams don't get to go to the Super Bowl. I think the last time we went to the Super Bowl, I don't think I was born yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's been a long time. So it's kind of give you that feeling of like wanting to be there, wanting to witness it. But
Yes,
I feel like with the future that we got at quarterback and, the things that we're going to be able to do after this year, I think we're going to be able to be in this position at least a few more times. So, I'm going to hold off on the impulsive decision of going to New Orleans. But, dude, man, it's going to be turned up, man, for sure.
Yes, and that's how I feel if my Cowboys ever get there. I feel like I just want to be in the city wherever it is and just want to be a part of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I definitely can understand that. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that game first. We got the Washington Commanders, the number 6 seed, our kind of Cinderella team, going to the number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. Q, break this game down for us and tell us what you think it's going to take for your Commanders to pull this off, man.
First of all, we gotta control the line of scrimmage, number one. That starts with, limiting Saquon. Nobody's ever gonna be able to stop him, right? And he's probably gonna have that moment where he break that big run. But we can't get discouraged by it. I think going into this game, I think the approach will be a little different. If I'm on the coaching staff, is let's see how well Jalen Hurts feels right now. He had the little, the knee. I think somebody said something about a MCL something, maybe. I don't know. So no, we don't really know what's going on with that. So I think for me, um, I want to see if Jalen Hurts can beat us. Beaten, he hasn't been the guy in the playoffs when they have, won their games. I think the most yards he's passed for in a win in the playoffs is like 158.
It's
Right.
crazy.
He hasn't had that game to where he's been, I got to drop back and throw 30 passes and throw for 300 and do this, that, and the thirds, right? So I want to see if he can do that. Can he do it? Yes. Jalen Hurts is one of the top quarterbacks in the league, so it's no disrespect to him. I just take my chances as far as, limiting Saquon, being grown men and matching up on the outside, which I feel really good about our secondary going into this game. I just feel like, I feel like we had stopped one of the, not stopped, but, we got 5 turnovers against one of the best, if not the best offenses in the whole league, right?
That was crazy.
So, dealing with Amon St. Brown and, Jamison Williams and Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think, they built some confidence. My boy Mikey, I got 2 picks. Quan Martin got a pick. Lattimore's been looking a little bit better, outside of playing Mike Evans. But, I think those guys are going to gain some confidence from this last game. And I think we're going to, go into this game rolling. As long as we don't beat ourselves, I think we'll be right there. So I do think it's going to be a fairly, low scoring game in a sense. So I think the over under is at like 40, 45 or something like that. So I'll probably take something a little under that. And I just think it's gonna come down to, who has the ball last and, what quarterback can make more plays. We're gonna do our best to take away Saquon. They're gonna do their best to, contain Jaden Daniels and keep him in the pocket. Um, De'Ami Brown has been playing well for us. I feel like he got his confidence back. Um, Terry is always, Terry's been Terry. So I just think it comes down to whoever can make the least mistakes. We can't go in there fumbling and throwing picks, getting out of gap alignment. So as long as we do the things that we've been doing, I think we'll be fine. And I'm gonna take us in a close one. I'm gonna say 24-20. So
Got you. Um so that's what I had put on my notes is y'all need to load the box. Man, if Jalen Hurts beats me, I'm gonna go to midfield, shake his hand, and
yeah,
but I'm putting 9 in the box because I'm not gonna let Saquon run over me all game long. I also said y'all need to protect Jaden Daniels because their pass rush has really turned it up in the playoffs. They've been really getting out to people. It's crazy. They've had 18 turnovers in the last 7 games. Some of that's come from the pressure they've generated, and the game changed last week against the Rams when they had that fumble.
yeah.
So like you said, y'all got to play clean football because as you know, the last time y'all played, y'all had 5 turnovers against them and still won. That's crazy that y'all pulled that off.
We can't do that Sunday at all. It
No,
will not work.
it will not work. Like you said, Dommy Brown, he's been electric in the playoffs, averaging 93 yards between the 2 games. He definitely needs to step up, have a big game. I definitely think y'all need to get Terry going early because when he gets going early, y'all a different team. Uh, Cliff Kingsbury, he's been calling great game in both games so far. He did a really good job of getting Terry out there on the island. He had 2 guys blocking for him, and then he just split the gap and he hit his head on the goalpost in that last game. So definitely get him going early. I think your backs, Brian Robertson, he needs to have another big game because in the first game it was Jaden Daniels. He was pretty much the run game, but it was huge that Robertson and Eckler they both had some big plays and made a big impact on the game. Uh, and then I said for the Eagles, of course, they need to establish Saquon because that's their identity. They got the best line in the league, and they want to lean on people and really, be physical. Get pressure on Jaden Daniels because the Commanders, that's something that they haven't really fixed all the way yet. They still got some holes in their line, so kind of get pressure on them and kind of get after Jaden Daniels. Um, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but Jaden Daniels, of course, in both games he had at least 1 turnover. So, like you said,
Yeah.
y'all cannot do that. And Jalen Hurts, he had that concussion in the last game, and then C.J. Gardner Johnson, he got ejected. That was a little crazy. Um, and yeah, one of the craziest things about that last game is Devontae Smith, he dropped that easy third down catch, and
Yeah.
then they had to settle for the field goal, and then Jaden Daniels uh, walked y'all down the field with 2 minutes to go. And so, like you said, I think whoever plays the cleanest game is going to win this game because, like we saw last week, all the teams that didn't turn the ball over, they won. And all the teams that turned it over, they lost. So, like you said, whoever plays the cleanest game, I think is going to win. Um, I got to roll with you, man. It's just something about the way y'all have been playing this postseason. And, it's something about when that Cinderella team kind of gets hot, that they're just hard to stop. And it kind of reminds me of the Bengals, that run they went on to the Super
Yeah.
Bowl 2 years
Mhm.
ago with Joe Burrow. That's what the run that Jaden Daniels has had. That's what it reminds me of. So I kind of got around the same score as you. I was going to go 24-21. I think y'all will walk it off with a field goal or something like that because, y'all been playing on all these close games. Last week was the one where y'all kind of pulled away because they had all those turnovers. So I have to ask you, what was that like seeing y'all force all those turnovers and Jared
Man.
Goff just being so reckless with it?
So I was at work because we was getting ready for an event on campus. So I was watching in the student center with my students, and I got a video. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I was walking around every time they turn the ball over, we score. I'm walking around, From Detroit, they say "What up, though?" And every time I walk around, I'm saying "What up, though? What up, though?" Every time they turn the ball over. So, but it was good to see us get those turnovers because if you watched us throughout this season, like we haven't been a team that has, turned teams over that much. We're I think we're the 18th ranked defense in the league, so we're the middle of the pack as far as turnovers and forced fumbles, interceptions, all that. So it felt good, which is why, I think, that's going to give us a little bit of an edge because it's like we're playing our best football right now as a team collectively.
Mhm.
And I don't think Philly is playing their best football as a team collectively because it's been Saquon,
Yes,
So it's like
Saquon.
he's been the offense. Their defense is stellar. They got one of
Lights
the
out.
best, one of the best front sevens in the league. You got big play Slay, the Mitchell, the other corner, Cooper DeJean, and those guys and CJ. So they got a pretty solid defense who's been clicking. But offensively, they just haven't had, that continuity. And that's not just been this week. That's been going back weeks where they were saying AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts were beefing. So I think we've been playing the best complete ball out of the teams left in the playoffs, in my opinion. That's debatable if you want to look at, maybe the Bills or, possibly the Chiefs. But I just think that we're just on this run and we just have this confidence and we just have this level of like, you know what, like even if we don't go to the Super Bowl, like we are here. Like for years to come, people gonna know like the Washington Commanders are here now. Like we're not the Deadskins where people were calling us, a few years ago. You see us and it's like, oh, it's an easy win. Like that team is gone now. So no matter what, like we're gonna be a force to be reckoned with moving forward. But I just think, like you said, man, it's just something about like how I feel. Like I ain't nervous going into the game. And, normally I'd be nervous. Like, I just feel like it's just gonna be just such a great game and a great atmosphere in Philly in general. So I think this probably will be one of the most viewed games in history and all that, man. I just think it's gonna be an epic showdown between two great teams. Out of the NFC East, which I feel like is the best division of football. Honestly, we got the Giants, but they'll get right soon. But we're making strides, man. So that's all I'm really worried about right now. Just continuing to do the good things. And like I said, man, we go to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna be turned up. I might see it on my story, be a little turned up. If we don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna be upset, of course, but moving forward, like I will say that like we're in a position to where we're gonna be a force to be reckoned with for years to come.
Yes, and I want to throw a shot at Jerry Jones because he deserves it. This is what happens when we have real ownership and have an owner that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, man.
So I
Yeah,
think that
man.
definitely changed things for y'all. Y'all got a real owner that knew what they were doing, and he went from 4 wins to this. This is crazy.
4 to 14. Like, that
Yeah,
that you don't really see that
at
in
all.
in the league. So yeah. So we making strides, but for sure.
But like you said, the Eagles on offense, they really haven't, been clicking. It's been more of their defense forcing turnovers and, them leaning on Saquon and not having to do a lot. Because I feel like personally, if Jordan loved that first game, if he wasn't giving out birthday presents, their defense shut down their offense. He was just that pressure made
If
him.
he if he was 20 to 25% better, Green Bay wins that ball game. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like that's just what it comes down to. Same with I was telling last week, it's like, with Stafford and them, they play out of LA. They ain't used to playing in that snow,
at
right?
all.
But towards the end of the game, when it started to slow down a little bit, you seen them kind of get back into the groove of what they were doing, right? So even with Stafford and Jordan Love and those guys, great quarterbacks. But I think what separates Jaden in this matchup with that pressure is his elusiveness, right? So he's going to be able to get away from some of those sacks where you see Matthew Stafford take late in the game. I don't know if you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
he had his tight end coming right across the middle and Jalen Carter sacked him. You see what I'm saying? So it's like just plays like that is where I think Jaden will be able to give himself a little bit of time. But yeah, like you said, they defense is. I'm more worried about the defense of Philly than I am of the offense.
yeah.
Because they are, like I said, we turn the ball over against them historically, not just this season. It's just something about the Eagles, man. We turn the ball over against them. So, and it's the third game. So, everybody's they're probably gonna know what play we running. We probably gonna know what play they running. So it just comes down to who can make that stop and who can execute. So,
Yeah, and you brought up Jalen Carter. I think you need to double him the whole game because you saw when he went 1-on-1, nobody could deal with him.
but I think we have to because I don't know if you know or not, but our starting guard Sam Cosmi he tore his ACL.
Oh yes, I saw that.
So
That was
I'm 1,000% sure that, like if Jalen Carter has to get doubled the whole game. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Leave a back, when passing situations, have your back in the backfield, helping the block. But I think just like last week, I think Austin Eckler is gonna make the difference in this game with his ability to catch out of the backfield. So we got some ways that we can win, man. I just feel like we got more ways that we can win right now than Philly does. But not to knock them because they can get on AJ Brown a problem, Smitty a problem. So it's like they can get rolling real quick. So I'm hoping they don't though, but they can
true.
get rolling real quick.
Yes, I mean, like you mentioned, Austin Eckler last week he had 6 carries for 47 yards, and then he had 4 catches out the backfield for 41 yards. So, yeah, he brought a lot of splash out of that backfield. Um, so let's move to our next game, which is always a good one when Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes face off.
Mhm.
We got the number 1 seed, the Kansas City Chiefs, versus the Buffalo Bills. Q, so I have to ask you, I've seen this all over social media. What were your thoughts on some of those calls the Chiefs got last week?
Man, it's ridiculous. I think and it's gonna be bad for the game. But I think moving forward, how we have that replay assist, man, we got to be able to look at some of these roughing the passer calls, and when the quarterbacks get outside the pocket and they want to run around and dance and then fall down at the last second. You know what I'm saying? Things like that is like, as a defender, what do you do, right? And the one play,
Exactly.
the one they called on, there were two they called on Patrick Mahomes. The guy barely touched him when he touched him on his chest, and then the one where he slid, the two defenders hit each
They hit
other.
each other.
So it's
Exactly.
like, that was a critical moment in the game.
For
I
sure.
think it was about to be a third down or something like that, and you gift them with 15 yards and a first down, right? So I think they anticipated so much now that they don't think, they just react, right?
Yes.
But I think moving forward, I do think that needs to be a place where they be like, hey, he didn't touch these guys. Let's pick this flag up.
Sure.
It's gonna hurt the game though. But I'd rather them make the right call
Exactly.
than to make a call and it's not what it's supposed to be. That goes for anything. If they want to do that for PIs or whatever, like I don't know. I think the roughing the passer calls are a little more iffy than like pass interference and things like that. Those are pretty clear when they call
Yeah,
those.
obvious. Yeah, most times.
But it's the roughing the passer calls, man, that got to be corrected. And I think the only way to do it is to allow replay assistants to like look at those plays for a quick second and just move forward from there. So,
Sure. So how do you see this matchup playing out? Josh Allen, he usually wins in the regular season, and he hasn't been able to get over the hump in the postseason. So is this the week that he finally does it, or how do you feel about this one?
oof, man, it's like you want to see something different. But it's like, all right, if I was betting money on this game, there's no way I'm betting against Patrick Mahomes, right? In
Exactly.
Arrowhead Stadium, I'm not betting against it. But um, I just think the Bills, man, they are playing some good ball. They can run the ball. Their defense is playing lights out. Um, they got this swagger to them. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Josh Allen has finally taken like that next step, or in his mind is like, I'm gonna win this. Like it don't matter what's going on. Like I'm gonna make the necessary plays to win this. And I just feel like Kansas City has I think they've had too many close calls with a few of their games this season, to lesser talent. Um, but it's gonna be, man, it's gonna be hard to go in there and win that game, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man, and I think the line of this game is like at 1. I think it's like
Me
favorite
too.
if Kansas City favored by 1, maybe. So it's like it's a pick 'em game anyway, so it's kind of like I don't. My
It's
gut
two.
tell- it's
The
two.
Chiefs favored by two right now, so
Yeah.
that's
My gut
close.
my gut is telling me that the Bills are going to find a way to win this ball game. Um, and I think, it's gonna be just like, our game. I think both of these games are gonna be low scoring games. I think people are expecting high scoring, but I think they're both gonna be low scoring. And I'm gonna take your point total from the other game. I'm gonna take the Bills 24-21. I just don't think it's gonna be a lot of offense scored in this game. If it does, of course I'm gonna lean towards the Chiefs. If it's a high scoring game, then I got faith in the Chiefs a little more. But if the Bills can keep it low scoring, grind it out type of game.
Mhm.
Um, the Bills got a big offensive line that can that can lay down on you too. So I think that's the way that I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bills right now, 24-21. But man, the way that game goes is gonna like really dictate the outcome of everything. So I just hope the refs don't get involved and there's no controversy in either game. I hope it's just like, straightforward, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like this call terrible. I just hope it's like you let these guys go out there and, play it out, allow them to be a little more physical than you would in any other game because it's gonna
True,
be,
true.
it's for the Super Bowl. It's to go to the Super Bowl. So let the guys play, no ticky tack stuff. And I think, yeah. So I got the Bills 24-21.
Yeah, okay then. So no three-peat on your side.
Nah, nah. If I was betting money now, I'm like, look, that boy Mahomes a bad boy, but I ain't betting no money on that game. So I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Yeah, I could understand that. Because to me, if the Bills don't get it now, then when? Because
Win. Yeah.
the AFC is so loaded as to where the NFC. I mean, you can keep getting those cracks at the going to the Super Bowl, but in the AFC that's loaded with so many talented quarterbacks, the Bills, they've gotten here once before and they weren't able to get it done. So I'm like you. I think this has to be the year that they, go to that Super Bowl, man. I got the Bills winning, and I think it's gonna be the way that they won the first matchup, where they got after Patrick Mahomes because that offensive line, those tackles, you can really get after them, especially that right tackle. I mean, he
Hmm.
called a penalty on him every play if you wanted
Yeah.
to. I don't. They wasted their money on him, but the last time the Chiefs had a turnover in the game was this Week 11 matchup against the Bills, uh, where they got after Patrick Mahomes. They really sped him up and made him, make some throws that he normally wouldn't make. But when that D line is in your lap, I mean, you ain't got no choice but try to make something out of nothing. So I said they need to establish James Cook early, like you said, really limit the possessions, keep 15 on the sideline because if he's on the sideline, he can't hurt you. So, kind of like that game plan that Notre Dame was trying to do the other night against Ohio State.
Yeah.
They ran out of gas. They ran the quarterback too many times on that first drive. But yeah, I definitely think the Bills kind of what they did against the Ravens in the second half, kind of don't lose the game, do just enough to, win the game. Because in that second half, they really were just, they kind of went conservative and just were trying to make sure they didn't get those crucial turnovers like the Ravens had that hurt them and prevented them from winning. So I think the Bills do just enough. I know, like you said, it's gonna be so hard to go into Kansas City and win. Because I'm worried in a close game. I'm worried about them refs saying, we can't let them do this in
Yeah.
Kansas City. But like you said, hopefully they call it down the middle. Hopefully we have two good crews, and I think Josh Allen is just gonna put this team on his back and make sure that they finally get over the hump because they've been so close. But they've always, ran into a hurdle and they haven't been able to get over that hump. So I think this is finally their moment, and I know Sunday about 10 o'clock we're gonna be looking crazy, and Patrick Mahomes is gonna feel like people have been doubting them all week, and they're gonna be going to try to
It's
get that
Super Bowl.
three-peat. Yeah,
Right.
so
Right.
I know Buffalo's picking Buffalo, and I feel like a lot of the TV analysts are gonna be doing that too, and they're gonna be using that as a motivation to prove people wrong. Um, but for the Chiefs, I said they need to protect Patrick Mahomes. I know that's going to be really hard because their line is just it's not what it's once was, and they definitely need to address the tackle situation in the offseason. Nothing you can really do about it now. play a turnover-free game because that hurt them last time. They had 2 turnovers against the Bills, and that was the difference in the ball game. Contain Josh Allen. I know it's hard, but when he breaks out that pocket, gang tackle him because that's a big
Yeah.
boy. One person ain't gonna bring him down. And they need to have touchdowns, not field goals. Both teams, I feel like that's gonna be the key. Who's able to get those touchdowns and not field goals in the red zone? That's gonna be a big key. So yes, like you said, hopefully we have 2 good games, and I just can't wait for Sunday, man.
Yeah. I'll be looking, I've been on Twitter all week and I'll be looking at just different stuff and I be getting a little worried when it comes to like, for instance, the head official that's doing our game, the Eagles ain't lost a game when he been the head official.
Oh yeah,
So
I see something.
I be looking at stuff like that and I'll be like, man, like they 6-0 with this man. And it's like, whatever. I'll be looking at stuff like that, but I'll be trying to be, a little optimistic on, this playoffs is a little different, but stuff like that kind of does get to you. So I look into stuff like that all the time. So if I get on there and I see something about the Chiefs that's feeling that way, I might have to change my pick a little bit. Because like I said, I'm still a little optimistic as far as ours, man. But yeah, I just feel like it's giving me like last time we went to the Super Bowl was 1992, and that's when we won. And I don't know if you know or not, but we played the Buffalo Bills. So trying to repeat history a little bit, man. See if we can do it again. So, yeah, we're gonna see, man. But that, like you said, that Kansas City Buffalo game, man, is like it's a toss up. It's a pick 'em. 10 minutes before the game, Keith, we might both be like, you know what, I'm taking the Chiefs. I ain't got no faith in the Bills. So that's just one of those games where it's like it's gonna be two. Those are two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Two of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, battling it out to get to a Super Bowl. So, like you said, whoever can control that line of scrimmage, and control the time of possession is gonna definitely be on top of that game for sure.
Yes, and I think one thing the Bills have to do that the Texans struggle with is not have those defensive breakdowns. When Patrick Mahomes is scrambling around, and Kelsey will break open, and you can't.
Mhm.
I know it's hard to sit there and cover for that long, but you got to try your best. Because
Yeah,
I was like, how does he keep getting open? He had a 100-yard game, and Al Shazier, he was trying his best, but he couldn't do nothing with
you
Kelsey.
gotta do that with Travis Kelce, man. So
Yeah,
that's
so
gonna be that's gonna be the key, man. And they probably have to double up on Kelsey, and because to me personally, there's nobody at that receiver position that scares me one on one. Worthy has the speed, but as a route technician and route runner, he doesn't scare me, right? So
gosh, yeah.
Bills, I think that may be their game plan. They're probably gonna double up on Kelsey, and trust them guys on the outside to make plays when it come to Hopkins and Worthy and I forget who else they got out there receiver, but
Watson, Gray,
yeah,
you
those
never know.
guys.
You
No,
never know who.
like no disrespect, because Hopkins is one of them guys, but he ain't the same Hop from
Oh,
back in the day.
for
So
sure.
I think that should be the Bills, game plan, kind of just to take away what Mahomes is most comfortable with, and allow him to beat you with everything else, which he definitely can do. But I think it'll help their chances a little bit more by doing that.
Yeah, because it's just like the Eagles. I'm not gonna let Saquon beat me, and I'm definitely not gonna let Kelsey beat me.
Yeah, you gotta take away the most important players on the offense, for the quarterback. And like you said, bro, that's gonna be the tale of the game. If we look up and we see Saquon got 180 rushing yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns, we in trouble, right?
For sure.
And if you look up and you see Kelsey got over 100 receiving yards and all this, like the Bills in trouble. So they can have that, they can end with that, but if it's quiet, then it is what it is. Like I said, the last game when we played the Eagles, he killed us in the first half. I think he had like 90 yards in the first half, and in the second half he had 27. You
Gotcha.
still got 100 and something yards, but you made the adjustments to where
Halftime.
right. So we're gonna see, man. I'm excited for. I think this is gonna be one of the best conference championship weekends, honestly and truly. I was really hoping, that Lamar could pull through because, this would have been, I think, in history, the first time that 4 black quarterbacks would have been in the championship games.
I think
So
so. Yes.
I was hoping that he could have pulled through and, we could have seen that. But nonetheless, like we still have, 4 of the top guys that's gonna be playing in this game. So I'm excited to just be a fan this weekend and just watch some football for real.
Yeah, so since you brought it up, what are your thoughts on, the Ravens and, them coming up short again? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, the the Ravens get into this mindset of I think they forget who they are.
Yes,
Um, I remember one play in particular, he threw the post to Bateman. Bateman was tackled at the 2 yard line, and you don't run the ball with Derrick Henry.
that was
Like
crazy.
you kind of forget what got you here. I think they get in the mindset of, oh, let's prove to people that we can sit back and drop back and throw the ball. No, do what works, do what wins. So I think that kills them because they get into the playoffs and they offense just changes completely, right? So I think just with that, man, and I just think they preparation just wasn't there. Lamar had his mishaps. I think sometimes he holds on to the ball a little too long rather than just throw it away and live to see another day, right? Um, so I think for them it's just for the people saying their window is closing and that window not going anywhere as long as Lamar Jackson is there.
For sure.
Um, and I don't like the make excuses for people or things of that sort, but I think him not having Zay out there kind of affected him just a little bit. Just another guy that can make plays for you, but nonetheless, you were there on a 2 yard line with an opportunity to send the game into overtime, and guys just couldn't make plays, right? And it happens. Like, I'm not one of those people that's gonna be on, people on social media dogging Mark Andrews for dropping that pass, but you know, it happens. But it just seemed like that always happens for the Ravens. Last year it was Zay Flowers fumbling at the 1 yard line with the
Crazy.
Chiefs. So and I think a few years before that it was Mark Andrews again. So I think history repeats itself with that team a lot. And I just think they just got some bad luck, man. I don't know how to explain that. It literally comes down to one play for them every single year, and it always happens, not in their favor. So yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I don't understand, the Bills they couldn't stop it when they got in those two tight ends and was running with Derrick Henry. I would have ran that until they put 12 in the box.
Listen, I'm telling you, when play action off of it and make you some plays. But yeah, man, I just think yeah, I
Because if
don't
you
know.
look at it, Josh Allen didn't have no like 300-yard game or nothing like that. He did just enough to win the game.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
think did he have what like about 150, about 150 or something like that,
Let me see.
somewhere
Let's see.
around there. So he didn't kill you. It just the inability for them to make plays. That's really what it came down to.
Let's see. Let's see. Blah, blah. He had 127.
You see what I'm saying? So
So,
that's one of those things where
yeah.
you look at the stat line and you think the Ravens won that game if you look at his stat line, but they did. So it's kind of one of those things where you got to go back to the drawing board. Um, defensively they gotta be able to. I don't know, man, because on paper that defense seems pretty legit, but then when they get on the field, man, they're just a little different. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I think those turnovers, like we saw in all these games outside of the Kansas City game, because the Texans they were clean, they just didn't have enough firepower on offense. But the other three games, turnovers were the deciding factor. So I'm looking here, and I saw this on Twitter. This is crazy. The Texans, the Lions, Rams, and Ravens all had the most total yards in their games. All of them lost
I
last
love
week.
loss.
That's crazy. So yeah, it's not always about that in the playoffs. um, so Q, I would definitely want to thank you for joining me on the show, man. I want to wish good luck to your Commanders this weekend, and if they pull it out, we may have to have you back on it for the Super Bowl week, man.
Yes, sir, man. Definitely, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you always, brother.
Yes, sir.